to the republic for which it stands.
One nation, under God.
Indivisible.
With liberty and justice for all.
Guns, self-defense, concealed carry. This is the Patriot Defense Podcast. From the war room in Idaho's high desert, here's your host, Todd Echols.
We begin tonight with the deadly chaos in El Paso, the mass shooting at a Walmart shopping center. Law enforcement officials telling ABC News at least 20 people have been shot and killed, dozens more injured. As you can imagine, panic breaking out as the killing spree started. The suspected gunman, identified as 21-year-old Patriot of Allen, Texas, is in custody tonight. Terrified shoppers with their hands up, you see it right there. Police say 1,000 to 3,000 people were likely inside of the Walmart at the time of the shooting. Many of them families there buying back-to-school supplies. And now the high number of fatalities landing this horrific attack on the list of the 10 worst mass shootings in U.S. history.
This is a CBS News special report. I'm Major Garrett reporting from Washington. 9 people have been killed in a second mass shooting in less than 24 hours. This time, it happened in Dayton, Ohio, at an entertainment district in that city. Police say they have killed the gunman. At least 16 others have been hurt and taken to area hospitals. Dayton Assistant Chief of Police Matt Carper spoke earlier.
And we're very fortunate that the officers were in close proximity and that they reacted the way they did. And as bad as this is, it could have been much, much worse, as I think everyone will become aware of here in the next, as more information unfolds.
Me and Mr. Tarver have showed up today, decided to hang out here in the war room and talk about the events that have transpired over the weekend, over the last week. Just sad news coming out of El Paso. We did talk about that, and then even sad news coming out of Ohio as the mass shooters.
It was very early when it was happening during the podcast, though. We didn't have a lot of
info yet. And then we went to bed and woke up to the fact that there was another mass shooting in Ohio. I thought now would be a good time to, I think we needed to get together and kind of talk about this and let everyone kind of hear our thoughts on what's been going on and just kind of why we think it's going on and what we really need to pay attention to, and just talk about this war on that we're waging a war right now, the war on our Second Amendment rights, the war on the Constitution,
and everybody's sleeping right through it. They don't see it coming, and I think part of it has to do with the fact that some of this stuff's coming, it's coming out of Texas. It's coming from Texas Republicans. Yeah,
and it's not good, man. We probably talked too much on the phone today, and we got it all the fire out of the passion out of our voices.
I needed to calm down a little bit.
Yeah, I think we did. I went out and bought a bunch of ammo, and now I'm happy again. It's kind of the way it works. But no, it's I don't even know where to start, Kevin.
Well, let's start back at the shootings. Okay, now that we got a little more information on it, we had a couple of shootings. One was the El Paso. He was a socialist that wanted socialism in America, but he wanted it for whites only. Okay, this is the Antifa type mentality we got going on. The other guy was Antifa. He was a Elizabeth Warren supporter, and he openly posted with Antifa stuff. Funny how they snatched down their social media real fast.
That was the Ohio guy, right?
That was the Ohio guy. And all of a sudden, these are white supremacists, and these are socialists. These are people from the left, which I don't really care if they're from the left or from the right, but the way this happened, the way I'm seeing it, is we keep having Antifa out here. The cops keep standing down. They stand there and let them assault people, okay? Every now and then, you'll get one that they'll try and bring charges against. Thank you for that, doing your job.
Right.
And the district attorneys always refuse. So far, they've always refused to. There was one that was charged, the bike lock guy, and I think he got nothing on that.
And why do you think they? I mean, this is all. Granted, we're talking about the mass shootings. We're talking about Antifa, and now it's like kind of like we're going backwards, but it all ties together.
Yeah. Well, this is where it starts. This is where it started building.
It's one giant play. Is what it is.
And several years ago, Soros was sinking money into the district attorney's office, and it's like, what are you up to? You still got federal prosecutors and stuff. No, he was buying all these local district attorney's offices. They know where to go to do this stuff. All right, and that's where they're doing it. And they're not being held accountable, and it's escalating, and it's getting bigger, and you got the media, and you got all these people talking about Nazis and, end of America and all this stuff, and these people are buying into it, and they're fighting back, and there's no consequences for them, so it's going to it's being left to escalate.
To a certain extent, you got the left, you got the Democrats, and they're not doing the dirty work necessarily. They're pumping up everyone else.
They're pumping up the crazies. And the right is not doing a damn thing.
No.
The Justice Department is doing nothing. Nothing. Come on, man. This is terrorism. This is trying to get a political outcome. You can make moves on this, and they're not doing anything. Nothing. They can't seem to find a criminal anywhere. You got Paddock, who supposedly it was Paddock. I don't believe half the story there. Shot, 50 people and killed 50 in Vegas?
Yep.
But we don't know the motive.
We don't know these mass shootings. I didn't mean to interrupt. If you look back at the mass shootings, there's so much of it we don't know.
No. Not only that, one of the things that struck me was he said he was going to kill as many Hispanics as possible. Possibly. Did you hear him say that? Is there a recording of that?
So so
we're just believing what they tell us.
After every mass shooting, there's a couple things that come out within a couple hours or a day.
Yeah.
How many people he shot, how many people he killed, how many people he wounded, and they all have freaking manifestos.
Yeah.
They all have manifestos, and it starts dribbling out, and then you start hearing rumors of social media, and then you go, maybe even see a screenshot every now and then of a social media page. Then you go there, and it's all wiped clean. It's all gone. It's all off. And at the beginning of these shootings, we also hear, when you first get the news alert of active shooter, multiple active shooters every single time.
Eyewitnesses saying in the El Paso shooting said she saw 3 people dressed in black. I watched 2 witnesses on video say no, there was 3 of them. They were shooting. We saw them. We saw I mean, I can understand getting a few details wrong, but come on, man. How do you mistake 3 people walking around shooting?
Right.
It's just strange. I don't know what's going on, but
the
timing is a little more interesting than, wow, what a quinky dink.
Right.
Come on, man. And then I don't know. I don't mean to jump ahead.
Oh, yeah, I think we're going to be all over the board today. I don't think it really matters.
So I couldn't even sleep. Right. I'm keeping up with the news. I'm like, what's going on?
Right.
What's going on? Boy, Fox News is all in. They've shoved all their chips in the pot.
Everyone's all in.
They're pushing this. And they had some guy, and this is when it got me. I saw Dan Crenshaw put out another tweet pushing for the TAPS Act.
The American hero.
Yeah, American heroes, traitor. Treason, man.
TAPS Act. We talked about the TAPS Act. That's the one thing
nobody's talking about.
And that's why I have you here. I enjoy speaking with you. I like we think along the same lines. You are better at getting it out and into the microphone better than I am. You are. But so nobody's talking about the TAPS Act. Like nobody is talking about the TAPS Act. I've posted, and there's a few people, and I posted on Facebook. Some people are looking at it and they're going, "Oh, that's not good. That's not good." Then there's people that I just flat out can't even get to comment on it. I do a radio show, and they haven't even touched on it. And I know the guy that hosts a radio show looks at my Facebook page because he'll pull articles and stories off of it, and no one's saying a word about it. Well, nobody.
Even, thank God, finally Breitbart put up that they were pushing the TAPS Act and red flag laws, and everybody's excited about the red flag. Red flag ain't the bad one. It's bad enough. I mean, we're going to wipe out the First Amendment, Second Amendment, and Fifth Amendment. They're gone. They're trash. If this passes, and it's going to pass. I knew it was going to pass when I saw Lindsey Graham pushing it, and then I turned on Fox. He put out a tweet on it, and then I turned on Fox and saw this guy sitting on the couch, and he was, well, we could do the TAPS Act. Now I don't even know who he was. And they said, well, what is the TAPS Act? And they said, well, that gives the police more training to deal with these situations. I'm like, they're sneaking this in. Whenever you see all the pieces moving at the same slow, steady pace, moving forward, they're going to do it. They're going to get this done. And then I happen to find our old buddy, the conservative favorite, the one people want to be the next president and they want him to be in charge of the FBI, Trey Gowdy. And we got a video. We got some audio of that.
Yep.
I'll
go ahead and play that right now.
After 2 deadly mass shootings in the span of 13 hours, at least 29 people killed in separate rampages in El Paso, Texas, and Dayton, Ohio. I want to bring in former Republican Congressman Trey Gowdy of South Carolina. He was the chairman of the House Oversight Committee. He's now a Fox News contributor. And Congressman, it's always a pleasure to see you. Your reaction to these deadly acts.
Just depravity, evil. The right to life is the most fundamental, basic, primary right that we have. It is the right from which all other rights emanate. It doesn't matter if you have a right to a lawyer if you're dead. It doesn't matter if you have the right to free speech if you're dead. It doesn't matter if you have the right to keep and bear arms if you're dead. So on a personal level, I'm willing to subrogate any of my other rights to avoid another Sandy Hook, another Pulse nightclub, another day like we had yesterday. But I'm out of politics, and I'm not going back. So the legislators need to look at the laws we have on the books. Are they being enforced? If the answer is yes, and we still have gaps in our laws that need to be fixed, keep in mind, you don't have a single right for which there's not some corresponding responsibility or restriction. Every right you have has a restriction. So if we need more restrictions, then draw the causal scientific link between what you're proposing and what you hope to be the outcome. But just more laws that are not going to be enforced is a panacea, and it's not going to work. Show me a law to prevent the next Sandy Hook and sign me up as a husband and father.
Wow.
Show me the law and sign me up, and I'll give up any other right I have.
Do we have the right balance when it comes to gun control versus gun rights?
Well, we have controls on who can have firearms, we have controls over where you can have them, and we have controls over what kinds of firearms you can have. So those are 3 areas of control. Whether or not you can plus up one of those sections and then raise your safety, the public safety is a scientific. To me, I need to see a causal link between what you're proposing and the outcome. I'm a big believer in background checks. I mean, Maria, I was a gun prosecutor. I was a homicide prosecutor. So I've seen all the laws that people are willing to break to do evil and depravity towards their fellow man. I've seen all of that. But I'm also open to additional laws if there's a causal link.
Our buddy, Trey Gowdy.
You heard it there, man. That's right off of YouTube. That's right off of...
that was on Sunday, yeah.
That's a news clip.
Can you believe that? Can you believe that? And everybody's sleeping.
We got to do something. We got to do something. It's red flag laws. It's TAPS Act. We do what we have to do. I think he starts out and he says, I believe this and I understand this and it's too bad for this, but we got to do something. This is what we're going to have to do.
That's what Dan Crenshaw said. We at least got to try. I'm like,
screw your rights. We don't care. You got to do it.
You're going to destroy the Constitution to try something that we know is not going to work. All right. This is tyranny.
Right.
This is outright tyranny, man. This is scary stuff they're talking about.
It's kind of like this has all been pre-planned. If you want to go down that road, so what we're going to talk as we talk about this, it's gonna seem like it's well,
this is why your police departments have been getting armored vehicles and stuff,
right?
For today.
So let's talk about conspiracy theory. Okay, that's a term that was manufactured by the
CIA.
And it was made to look. It was put out there. When was it put out there?
It was made to make people shut up asking questions about JFK.
Right.
Because nobody believed the ridiculous magic bullet and all that stuff.
And so now it's if you say something that may be true, but they don't want you to know that it's true, you're a conspiracy theorist, and that discredits you.
Or even question their ridiculous story. We might not have it right, but we know they got it wrong.
So we know
we're being lied to.
Conspiracy theories are not. We have a theory, right? We have a theory, and to be honest with you, we'll get into it as we discuss this theory over the phone today and over the last few days, you and me, because we've spent a lot of time on the phone. There's other people out there that are kind of, you can tell they feel and they think the same thing. They're letting a little bit of it leak out. Just people I know, but they don't want to come out and be labeled as crazy, right?
Well, we just had the president of the United States. Good grief! He talked today. I think we adding that.
Do you want? I tell you what. That's a long.
At the end of the.
That's a long clip.
Okay, but we want to add this in here because you're getting a lot of stories.
Right.
If you didn't see it, if you didn't see what he said, you're getting a lot of stories that are just hand-picking little stuff that he's going to focus on mental health and all that stuff. It's scary.
Mental health is a key word there.
Yeah.
He said mental health because and I'm to blame. I mean, I've done this as well after these other mass shootings in the past. We go after mental health. It's a mental health. There's a mental health problem. There's a mental health problem. So he's able to jump in there on his speech.
And there is.
And he's able to mention mental health. But because he mentioned mental health, then he can go in there and talk about red flag laws, and we're doing this, and we're going to go after guns, and everyone's okay with it. Or a lot of people are okay with it. I posted that on Facebook. And there's a guy that's on my Patriot Defense Facebook page, and he's like, oh, he's a hero. He's going to go after the root cause, the mental health. Did you listen to anything besides those two words?
Well, see, here's the problem. When we say mental health, we're talking about schizophrenics and dangerous people. If you're transgender, that's your choice. And if you misgender somebody, you're a hateful bigot. That's the difference we're dealing with here. All right? Why do you want an AR? That's kind of crazy. I mean, who says what's crazy? Because right now, crazy's good and good's crazy.
So when are they going to start? And they probably already have. So we talked a couple episodes back, podcast episodes back, that they were changing the definition of patriot.
Yeah.
When is patriot crazy?
It's probably crazy now.
It's probably crazy now. That's probably, if you're a patriot, you listen to and have those crazy conspiracy theories. I mean, you're an extremist.
Well, I tell you what, I know that they've been letting the violence escalate, and Trump's been letting the violence escalate over his supporters nonstop. And what has he done?
He's taken away our bump stocks.
Nothing. Nothing. He ain't done nothing to stop the violence.
Right.
And now all of a sudden we got this that it's some awful convenient time. And now I'm not saying people didn't get hurt. I'm not saying people didn't get killed. I'm not saying there's not a crazy guy out there. I don't know, but it's awful funny timing.
And it's interesting that when you listen to Trump's speech today, he mentions in there, it was my idea to go after bump stocks.
Yeah, he's bragging about that.
He's bragging about that. This man hates the Second Amendment. He probably doesn't even like guns.
No.
I mean, honestly,
this is going to destroy the United States Constitution.
Oh yeah.
If half of our amendments are gone, why should we worry about the rest of them?
So I think that they want the TAPS Act. They want these red flag laws. The TAPS Act is the one they really want.
It's Gestapo power.
So to usher this in, what do? They create reasons to do so, right? And we've kind of, it's like neither of us kind of want to. Neither of us want to go there. But but I'll just come right out and say it. So I don't know this for a fact, but look at all these mass shootings. They happen right when they need something done. Supposedly, multiple eyewitnesses come out and say there was multiple shooters. There was more than one. They only get one. All of
them's been taking psychotropic medication.
They all been, big pharma and weird medications. There's only certain information, and you get the same information about each shooter. That's it. Their manifesto, their color of their skin. They hate that. They're racist. And maybe a little bit on their social media, and that's pretty much all you get, and then you don't hear from or about them again.
It disappeared. We had the biggest mass shooting in the country in Vegas, and they're just going to tell us we don't know the motive, and it's over. Really?
But
it's just over?
They've caused it, and now they're going to have.
There's a lot of funny stuff with that shooting too.
Oh no, there is. I know. Oof. But so they've caused all this stuff to happen, so they can. Never let a good emergency go to waste.
Yeah.
So they can issue in stuff like the TAPS Act, red flag laws, gun confiscation.
It's the end
game.
All
this stuff. It is, and it's just coming faster and faster and freaking faster. It's absolutely 100%. Just amazes me to see this.
What's killing me?
People are sleeping.
Is everybody's asleep?
They're asleep.
They're not paying attention. And you know what? I would love to come back and say, maybe I overreacted a little bit.
Oh, me too. I'll be the first one to come out and say that.
If you listen to the words that the president said today, and imagine Obama saying those.
Carefully planned.
Imagine Obama saying those, though. You would freak out.
But you got a different person delivering him. He's supposed to be everyone's savior. He's the spawn of God himself, came down here. He's going to save the freaking planet. He's going to save the country. And then he gets up in front of us, tells us what he's going to do. He tells us what he's going to do. It's the TAPS Act. It's red flag laws. Ha, ha, ha. By the way, remember, I'm the guy that took away your bump stocks. But it's okay because we're going to go after mental health.
Yeah.
And then everyone's like, oh, see, it wasn't as bad as we thought it was going to be because he ended on the mental health note. What the hell is that?
One of the things that aggravate me the most is people that are blindly sitting there saying, well, this is 4D chess. And, man, I don't care if it's 55D hungry hippos. It's crap, man. This is scary talk. This is Constitution-destroying talk. And people are sitting there waiting to see what's going to happen. Add one more in. Like I said, we're going to bounce around.
Oh, bounce around, man.
I was calling the White House all day. Call the White House. Let the man know you're not happy with this. 202-456-1111. Call the comment line, White House comment line, 202-456-1111. Call it every day until the Constitution's destroyed because there's not many of us. Okay. Well, I was calling all day. I called for 8 hours. Finally, I was getting a little excited. I'm like, that's good. People are lighting this phone line up. When I got through, it finally rang because before the line was so busy it wouldn't even ring. And I got put on hold. I held for 10 minutes, and I had to stay there. People, you can give up 10 minutes. When I got the operator, and she said, what is your comment for the president? I said, I'm asking the president to back up off his unconstitutional attacks on the Second Amendment. And she said, really? Wow, that's it?
They thought they had it in the bag, didn't they?
I'm beginning to think nobody on our side, because the left knows how to play this game too.
Oh, yeah.
So they got bots and they
clog the phone lines.
Yeah, make the phone calls and have 30 people at a phone bank just switching.
Tell them you want it.
Yeah.
Tell them you want this. You want this.
Yeah, and I think the way she reacted, I don't know how many of us are calling because people are sitting back. Well, I heard Wayne Allen Root write a story today talking about a mush-headed moron talking about I'll give you red flags if we can have concealed carry reciprocity. I'm like, brother, you ain't gonna conceal nothing but your finger. They gonna take it.
You're gonna take your guns. That's what the red flag's all about. And that's all the TAPS Act is like red flag on steroids.
Yeah. It's automated red flag.
Yeah, because no one has to turn you in. They just have to look at what you've done in the past as far as, we talked about this before, credit card, debit card purchase, what kind of social media posts do you have out there?
Anything. Antidepressant.
You know, did you order 5,000 rounds of ammo today? Are you going to be a threat? We think maybe you might do something in the future, so we're going to have to come in and we're going to have to stop that. We're going to have to take your firearms. We're going to have to put you in jail. Whatever it is, we're going to come in and stomp all over your constitutional rights because, you know, the Minority Report. There's a small chance that you may do something in the future. You haven't yet, but you may, and we're gonna stop that because we're not gonna have any more mass shootings.
And people are buying it.
People are buying it, hook, line, and sinker, because it falls in hand to the mental health thing. And I used to rant about mental health. Mental health, we got to do something. This guy was
real mental health. Yeah, we do need to do
this
something.
This guy was posting this. This guy was doing that. This guy, whatever. Why he's a mass shooter now? Why didn't we stop him? You know. Well, there's a difference from the guy that purchases something and maybe makes a comment on social media to a guy that was visited by law enforcement like 20 or 30 something times and nothing. They did nothing.
Well, you're dealing with a government and a bureaucracy that you got pill-happy doctors out there that are slinging pills like the dope man. They're pushing these pills, little pill poppers.
Big pharma.
Yeah. You ever taken an antidepressant?
I never have.
You ever taken a blood pressure medication? You might get a little loopy.
That's right.
Anything.
Well, and there's been little pieces of this over the last few years that they've tried, and now they're
going for it.
Now they're going for it, and it's all in one giant package called the TAPS Act. So they used to be someone living with you, like you said, is someone living with you that's taking an antidepressant medication, And just because they live in your house, maybe you shouldn't have firearms there. Why are they labeling all these veterans and stuff that come back with PTSD? Man. Well, you're a little unstable. Maybe you shouldn't have your firearms.
Yeah, they're pop them full of medications.
And then they were throwing around PTSD for veterans, and now they're throwing around PTSD. You see a freaking hawk zip down out of the sky and pick up a fish out of the lake. Bam, dude, you got PTSD. We're going to have to put you on freaking medication and take your firearms. They're handing out that PTSD label for everything.
See, and they were very smart about that, because these guys coming back, maybe you're injured, maybe you're not. But they told them you can game the system if you have a disability. If you have PTSD, you can, we can extend your benefits and keep you take care of you a little bit. Which,
there's going to be a cost.
Yeah. There's a catch at the end.
You just don't know about it yet.
But see, they send these guys to combat and they let them do whatever. And if you get out of there without getting prosecuted, they just dump you on the streets, right?
Right.
And I'm sorry, you done been through some stuff. You done seen some stuff.
Sure. I'm not downplaying PTSD.
No. I'm not saying you would. But you've been through some stuff. But they slipped this in on you where you really do need some readjustment time to go from where you were to back into the world or whatever. And it's just tell them you got a little PTSD.
Well, here, take this. It'll help you out. It'll help you out. So what they're doing is under the table behind,
Well, what I'm saying is
no one's paying. They're hamstringing the people that they have trained to go out and
do combat.
Do combat. They're you PTSD, antidepressant, no guns for you. We're taking your guns. You're having a little trouble paying your bills because you were at the VA. You were in the VA hospital for a while, because that's happened too. I think that was up here in northern Idaho. Guy couldn't pay his bills or something. Something happened. Oh man, he can't take care of it. Oh, we're gonna go in and take his firearm. You name it. If you've got to sign over your rights to have someone pay your bills because you're not there, you can't handle anything anymore.
It's incapacitated.
It's oh my gosh, it just all fits together. If you sit down and look at it, it all fits together.
Not to take away from the people who really have PTSD, I'm just saying they get a lot more people into the system with that incentive.
Well, people want labels. People want, what's wrong with me? I need to know what's wrong. Well, PTSD. We got to call it something, and we're going to put you on this medication. We're going to get paid. Besides that, if you're on that medication, possibly you may fall under this red flag or this TAPS Act that you don't know about yet. That's going to come forth in the next couple of years.
Well, it's an attack on the veterans. You go do your service, you come back, and your government hates you. And a lot of people, too many people, get this misconception of supporting the troops with supporting the Pentagon. And if you support the troops, they should be. If you have to send our young men and women into combat, that should be a last resort. It should be. You should unleash the United States and bring them back home. We've been in Afghanistan. How long have we been in Afghanistan?
I don't even remember anymore. Long time.
17 years, something like that?
Yeah.
For what? I mean, come on, people. When you can't support the troops when you're supporting the Pentagon, and it's all these generals who don't care, and they're going to leave their job, and they're going to get a position at Northern, one of these military contractors, and they're going to make big money, and it's this continuing cycle. You can't. You got to bring them home. But my point was,
we went all over. We went all over the board.
My point was, I didn't want to. There are people who come back with PTSD, and that's fine. I'm just saying
we're not downplaying that.
They offer it to people who may not need PTSD treatment as an incentive, and I've heard people say they do that.
So it's just crazy, man. So, I mean, it's like well, you got to watch what they're doing.
We done went so far, I don't know where we went.
I know. It's a giant machine. They're building a giant machine, and they've built these cogs every year, a little more, and
they're putting the key in ignition right now.
So I guess in a roundabout way, what we're saying is, question we're asking, I guess we're not saying anything. The question we are asking is the government behind these mass shootings some way, somehow? Because all these things line up like they are. They always happen right before firearm or gun legislation. They always seem to happen at the perfect time to push a bill here or push a bill there. I mean, I hate to believe that it's true, but what else are you going to believe?
You couldn't engineer it better.
No.
Not only that, one of the things that got me, I tell you what, if they're not, wow, those are some lucky cats, and they are making the best out of each crisis. But what's odd is everybody got on the same page real fast.
And
they're all slow walking. They're pushing this. They're not wanting to jump too far. But you heard Trey Gowdy. I mean, for God's sakes, this man was a congressman. A do-nothing congressman. You know, he talked good, but he never did anything.
Right.
That's why he was garbage. He's got that Traficante hair. At least Traficante, a Democrat, he pushed back the IRS for us, but he was crazy too. But come on, we got people now that don't do nothing.
We don't.
They have PR. They have PR companies that help them out and push them around, and they get the little sound bites. I mean, what did Trey Gowdy do? Name one thing he did.
He gave me a sound bite for today's podcast.
That is it.
So
thanks for your treason.
So yeah. So it's. I mean, we have all these people that are coming out. People we would never think, like Dan Crenshaw. All these people. Even,
treason.
Yet coming out for this topic. I haven't heard one person come out. You can go on YouTube, and maybe I just know how to search YouTube. I mean, I'm kind of a dummy when it comes to some of this stuff. But I haven't really heard anyone coming out speaking against red flags, speaking against the TAPS Act since these last two most recent shootings. And they're scared to. I mean, right? If they're against it, why come out now? They're going to be labeled as insensitive, and you don't want this. You want mass shootings. You want this. They've got everyone.
The FBI just came out and said people who delve into conspiracy theories are the new domestic terrorists.
So people are going to shut up. They're going to. Interesting how that came out.
Or they're getting snatched down real fast.
Interesting how that came out, right? That's another. It came out. We had these mass shootings. All this stuff's taking place now. I was watching another news clip. I don't know if it is in Ohio, is the governor or the mayor, I forget who it was, some gal, some lady, says that was a 250th mass shooting in 2019. Now, I was going to print the list off, but it was going to take like 84 pages.
It's ridiculous.
And I'm kind of tight ass. I'm not going to burn through my ink like that. But I was reading it, and they're considering anything and everything a mass shooting.
A gun that is discharged or doesn't necessarily have to be discharged in one of the definitions I saw, around two or more people.
Right. It flat out one guy, I hate that this even happened. I'm not downplaying it, but he killed two members of his family and himself. They consider that a mass shooting.
Yeah.
I mean,
that is not a mass shooting. I understand it's not a good day. It's not a good situation, but he's not out indiscriminately spraying people. All right, that's my definition of a mass shooting. The 250 is just ridiculous, and I'm sorry. There's a lot of. I'm sorry for all the pain that came to Ohio and California and El Paso. I'm sorry. There are more people than that shot every freaking weekend in Chicago. Every weekend.
I think I saw an article. There was like 30-something. There was like a mass park shooting in Chicago, like 20 or 30-something people.
Don't even make the news.
No.
That don't fit the narrative. That's not the story they want to push. You got more people in Chicago. Gun-free Chicago.
Yeah.
Heavily restricted.
Yeah.
Really? That don't fit the narrative, though. But we got to do something.
I did let this slip today to at least one listener, Glenita, that we were doing this, and she actually had a couple questions that she wanted us to respond to.
Okay.
I'm gonna read them. Question 1: why is social media not saturated with pictures and videos and live feed of these shootings? We all know people like to video and be the one to have all the shares. I mean, I've seen a couple live feeds, but I mean, you can't tell what's going on. But as far as videos and pictures and stuff, you're not seeing much. You're only seeing what the media wants you to see.
You might hear a
gunshot.
That's it.
Yeah, and I was gonna.
Where's all the people recovering from all these shootings?
Yeah,
they don't. You telling me in today's society where everybody gets a freaking hung toenail, they have a GoFundMe page, and these people that are recovering in the hospital that could do updates and stuff, they don't have a GoFundMe page.
Interesting, huh?
They're not trying to. Come on, man. That's the instant. That's man. You about to retire?
I don't. It just all goes back to conspiracy theory. I mean, and you know what? And you see the look on my face. I don't want to say that because I don't want to be that guy. But
we just asking questions, man.
Anymore, it makes you wonder.
I guarantee you're going to have some people, as soon as you ask a question, they're going to get all high and mighty on their proud little horse and say, how silly of you, you conspiracy theorists. And they're the morons just walking into the meat grinder.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, for God's sake, listen to what the president said today. That is horrifying. I tell you what, I heard Representative Nadler come out. Let me clear something up. Nobody was a bigger Trump supporter than me.
Oh, I know. You got like 4 hats and all kinds of stuff.
It was not happening. Yeah, I was
the signed hat.
I was a supporter of Donald Trump long before he ever even announced. And when he announced, boom, I'm in. I was in hardcore. I spent more time pushing and supporting Donald Trump than I did at my job.
And you did working or eating or anything.
I did. So don't even come to me with that weak crap. You're not supporting the president. Representative Nadler today said, we're going to be doing impeachment by the fall. Hey, brother, I'm cool with that. Give me. I'll take my chances with Pence.
Yeah.
I don't like what I'm hearing today. I don't like it at all. It is the Constitution destroyer. All right? You can't say, well, he don't mean this. Either you got to believe he's a moron or he knows exactly what he's doing. Or he's not in control of things. Which, either way, I'm ready to take my chance with somebody else.
He's a puppet, man. I'm serious. So one more question. She says, I know it's a statement / question. I know that Texas isn't even in the top 3 for having the most armed citizens, but there was only one that tried to stop this guy. I can't believe only one guy had a gun in a Texas Walmart. So I think she's referring, I don't know for sure, I think she's referring to that guy that tried to save the children.
He didn't.
That's the only guy I've heard about.
He didn't engage anybody. He took off.
So here's the thing.
That's the only one I heard of.
Almost every shooting, someone will probably come out from the Ohio shooting sooner or later. In these shootings, they always have one hero.
The police are the hero in the Ohio shooting. Okay. 30 seconds. They done went down from a minute to 30 seconds.
There's always one hero. Okay, this guy, he's a great guy. Granted, he tried to pick up a couple kids and make off with them. But I don't know. I don't necessarily know that he's a. I don't necessarily know that he's a hero, and I don't want to say that because I'm just going to get lambasted with hate mail. But he walked over, he saw some kids in the freaking parking lot, and he tried to gather them up and make off with them, and they fought him, and they got loose and ran away. I mean, he didn't have a firearm. He didn't go in with a firearm.
He didn't engage the shooter.
He didn't engage. I mean, I'm not saying you have to be a hero to engage the shooter, but they needed a hero. They needed to take the focus off. I think the government needed to take the focus off what was going on there, off of maybe that lady that was saying she saw 3 or 4 multiple shooters. And so
that lady's probably dead by now.
So they grabbed this guy. They raised him up fast. He went up fast. Look at this hero. He's a hero. And then I start reading. When
you hear the details of the story, it's like
he didn't.
So you wanted to save some kids, but you tried to pick them up, and they got away from you, and you said you couldn't really help them. And I'm not taking nothing away from you.
He was in another store. Someone came in.
So he took off.
And someone came in and said, some kid came in and said, hey, there's an active shooter. And they kind of looked at each other like they didn't really believe him. And as he was leaving that store to head to the Foot Locker, that's what he said, to head to the Foot. I didn't know Foot Locker was even open. Still, he was headed to the Foot Locker, and he saw some kids, and he decided to gather the kids. I mean, what the...
You got to remember El Paso, as far as the one gun, too. El Paso is a very blue area. Beto O'Rourke used to be the mayor there, this moron that goes down there tap dancing on the graves before the bodies are even in it.
Right.
He was the mayor of that town. That lets you know everything you need to know about El Paso. It is blue. They overwhelmingly voted for Hillary. They're not a gun culture in El Paso.
So here's, I want to look at it this way too, because we are a gun podcast. I do gun training things, and I'm not pushing my training by any means right now. But what I want to say is, if you can legally carry a firearm, go get some training. Go carry a firearm. In Ohio, I'm going off of what the governor or the mayor, whoever said. She said that there was how many people were killed? 9 died.
Hard to keep track
and
of, yeah.
there was like 16 wounded or something like that in Ohio. And law enforcement showed up in a minute. In a minute from when they were called, a minute response time. That many people were injured. That many people were killed within a minute. And now she's praising law enforcement for showing up within a minute. That's a good response time. Nothing against that.
They're down to 30 seconds now on the story.
Fantastic.
I'm like, you had to be working the freaking door or something, man. That's amazing.
They were there, but look, in 30 seconds, that makes my story even better. In 30 seconds, look how many people were shot. Look how many people were injured. Look how many people died in 30 seconds. Within 30 seconds of law enforcement arriving. Take care of yourselves, people. You are your first responder. Carry a firearm. Be prepared. It's that easy.
He was another Antifa.
And they...
he was just a nut.
I heard that his sister was one of the ones that was shot.
Yeah, he killed her and her boyfriend. I'm like, there's some more to this story, maybe. But maybe they Elizabeth Warren supporter.
Maybe they knew what was going on. Maybe they knew what was going on.
I don't know.
Did he kill them first?
I don't know. I heard, you're getting all kind of different reports right now, and you don't know what to believe because they're going to put out a narrative anyway. So truth be damned. They're going to tell stories. Matter of fact, one of the problems they had with Vegas is people kept asking questions, so they just shut the thing down.
Right.
Because they got a story to tell, and that's it.
That's a crazy story.
It's ridiculous. It didn't happen. It's not the way they say it.
What we're saying is sit back. Don't listen to the media necessarily. You guys know what's going on right now from what we've said and what you've seen so far. Sit back and really think about it. What do all these shootings, these mass shootings, have in common? There'll be a couple things. What kind of evidence do you see from all these mass shootings? There's going to be a couple of things that's going to be the same thing over and over and over again. And what happens shortly after these mass shootings? Or what do these mass shootings, precede? Gun legislation. They're going to take this. What's going on that they don't want us to pay attention right now? That they need something. There's lots of stuff going on right now.
Yeah.
There's that, the freaking sex plane. There's the, what else is there?
There's the declassification supposed to be coming on all the FBI stuff. You got the director of national intelligence, Coates, getting kicked out, and they're trying to replace him with somebody who's not a criminal. Good luck getting that done.
So let's pull everyone's attention over here.
Yeah.
So we don't, and we're bringing out the freaking TAPS Act.
Bringing out the TAPS Act.
Let's give it a reason to usher that in.
It's exactly what it was. The TAPS Act was introduced last year. Didn't get anywhere, so they reintroduced it this year.
Did you even hear about it last year? Nobody did.
Nobody still hears about it. God bless Breitbart for talking about Crenshaw and Trump even pushing red flags, but I'm like, red flags are child's play, man.
How did they screw up? How did they screw that up last year? Maybe their pieces didn't fall together. They couldn't get that mass shooting all figured out right before they introduced the TAPS Act last year. So they just rolled over into this year.
I think they were too occupied with Russia.
Yeah, something.
So, yeah, it was crazy, but it's funny how they got to get enough, and while the fever's hot, while it's all everybody in shock about everything, they move. They do it in every country. They make a move. Come on, man. They do the same thing over and over, the same thing.
How many mass shootings do you think we don't even hear about?
In Chicago every weekend.
Well, we don't hear about it. We barely hear about because the everyday Joe who might be at the mall with his family has a freaking concealed carry permit, actually has his handgun there and puts a stop to it.
Right. That'll never make the news.
That'll never make the news, and it makes you wonder if this stuff should have been happening. This TAPS Act should have been happening a couple of years ago, but we kept messing up their plans, man.
Well, if it makes the news, it'll be a 5-second story.
Yeah.
Gunman was thwarted at. That's all you're going to hear. Gunman was thwarted at such and such mall. That's all you're going to hear. We'll update when we get details in. You'll never hear it again. By the way, Trump is racist.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all you're going to hear.
Just absolutely insane, but. I don't know. I just felt we had to get together today and get it off our freaking minds. You got any more?
Scary times, man. Scary.
We just had like freaking verbal diarrhea and we just puked it out all over the table.
Well, people have to listen to what the man says, all right?
I know.
Stop with this 5D chess crap. Stop with this, it's all part of the plan. It is part of the plan, and it ain't involving you. It's a big club, and you ain't in it.
The wrong plan.
Yeah, it's a plan to incarcerate everybody.
Yeah.
You're going to have, just listen to everything he says and imagine anybody else saying it and snap out of it. And what's killing me is nobody, absolutely nobody. Fox News is in deep on this. They are pushing it. What was that, New York Daily, the New York Post?
Yeah.
They had a full front page. This is owned by the Murdochs. The Fox News. Full front page with an AR. Ban them now. Ban them all. Come on, man. Fox News is in on this deep. Everybody on Fox News, your favorite people that sit there and talk, they going to do exactly what they're told. Everybody does what they're told.
They got Dan Crenshaw to do it, right? Or Dan Crenshaw did it himself. But anyhow, he did it. So a lot of them other guys are going to... I know Dan, that's blown a lot of people's minds. I posted it up on Facebook, and people are going, oh, what?
Well, they need to realize Trump's doing it, too.
Well, I know, but...
And Fox News is selling them out. And they're talking about mental health. No, it's a gun ban. It's a gun grab. And you're going to be a little bit crazy. Oh, you're a little bit crazy. We got to take your guns. There's going to be a knock at your door, and it's a SWAT team. And you got all these people, I'll die, I'm going to fight back. You're just going to die at the doors.
They're not taking my yeet cannon.
You should tell them the yeet cannon's out back. Just go get it.
That's right.
Just go get it.
It's in a pile of rocks out back.
They probably wouldn't take it.
Well, actually, I'd probably just bend down and I'll be using it as let me prop the door open with my yeet cannon here. Come on in, boys.
Yeah, they say, nah, you can keep that one. that ain't gonna hurt nobody.
Except for their pride.
Oh, quite a rant we've been on.
Quite a rant. We've worked up quite a
How long have we been ranting?
We've 42 minutes.
Wow.
That's a pretty good one.
I don't know if I made any sense the whole time. I was just getting stuff off my chest.
I think that
therapy.
Even if we didn't come at this in order, I think we give people a lot of things to think about.
I got a question for Dean. Go ahead.
And they are either going to continue to listen to us or go, man, these bastards are crazy.
Yep.
And shut it off.
They're call the red flag office.
Call the red flag. We're going to be the first ones. Dude, you better move, Tarver.
Yeah, man. I might. Depends on if we find a state that's friendly, because now it's a nation under attack.
I'm packing the Scout. We're headed out to the bug out location.
Man,
we are though. We are in a war. We're in a war zone right now,
and we're sleeping.
And we're getting run over. And it's summertime, and it's August, and people are busy, and people are worried about going back to school and getting ready for that crap, and no one's paying attention to anything.
Well, I hate to give the analogy, but people, it's terrible. I shouldn't even do it, but I'm going to do it. People always say, "Well, how did Hitler go from a democracy to such charge?" Stuff like this, and people saying, "No, it ain't happening. It ain't happening." It is happening right now. It's happening right in front of you. But I had a question for Dean, since he's the medical professional.
I don't see him here, but you can ask it.
He'll hear it.
Does he listen?
Maybe the listeners can answer this.
Sure.
We was talking about the gunshot to the groin area, to the lower torso.
Okay.
Now, a lot of Marines used to carry tampons with them.
Right.
Tampon will fit right in a bullet hole nice. You shove it in there, it's a clean gauze, and it soaks up and swells up and puts pressure against it.
Sure.
Is that old wives' tale, or does that sounds like it makes sense?
You know what? I will say this. I don't have any experience with that necessarily. But a buddy of mine was over in where was he? The Desert Storm and all that. And he says he made his guys
carry
tampons. They all carried them in their med kits or whatever, and that's what they would use it for if they had to.
Sounds like that kind of bullet wound. The only thing's good is a tampon.
Yeah,
everybody carried some tampons with you.
I got 3 daughters. I got a house full of tampons.
Yeah, you got to keep them with you.
Okay.
If anybody asks, just say, "Hey, I
might get shot."
I'm questioning it.
It's a rough world, man. Haven't you been watching the damn news?
Yeah, man. Jeez.
So,
but if we're not here next week, you'll know that y'all was able to share this to the right people, and
you say, get a hold of Mark at D&B Supply. He'll hook you up with the yeet cannon,
and we're gone.
And white
supremacy. These sinister ideologies must be defeated. Hate has no place in America. Hatred warps the mind, ravages the heart, and devours the soul. We have asked the FBI to identify all further resources they need to investigate and disrupt hate crimes and domestic terrorism, whatever they need. We must recognize that the Internet has provided a dangerous avenue to radicalize disturbed minds and perform demented acts. We must shine light on the dark recesses of the Internet and stop mass murders before they start. The Internet, likewise, is used for human trafficking, illegal drug distribution, and so many other heinous crimes. The perils of the Internet and social media cannot be ignored, and they will not be ignored. In the 2 decades since Columbine, our nation has watched with rising horror and dread as one mass shooting has followed another, over and over again, decade after decade. We cannot allow ourselves to feel powerless. We can and will stop this evil contagion. In that task, we must honor the sacred memory of those we have lost by acting as one people. Open wounds cannot heal if we are divided. We must seek real bipartisan solutions. We have to do that in a bipartisan manner that will truly make America safer and better for all. First, we must do a better job of identifying and acting on early warning signs. I am directing the Department of Justice to work in partnership with local, state, and federal agencies, as well as social media companies, to develop tools that can detect mass shooters before they strike. As an example, the monster in the Parkland High School in Florida had many red flags against him, and yet nobody took decisive action. Nobody did anything. Why not? Second, we must stop the glorification of violence in our society. This includes the gruesome and grisly video games that are now commonplace. It is too easy today for troubled youth to surround themselves with a culture that celebrates violence. We must stop or substantially reduce this, and it has to begin immediately. Cultural change is hard, but each of us can choose to build a culture that celebrates the inherent worth and dignity of every human life. That's what we have to do. Third, we must reform our mental health laws to better identify mentally disturbed individuals who may commit acts of violence and make sure those people not only get treatment, but when necessary, involuntary confinement. Mental illness and hatred pulls the trigger, not the gun. Fourth, we must make sure that those judged to pose a grave risk to public safety do not have access to firearms, and that if they do, those firearms can be taken through rapid due process. That is why I have called for red flag laws, also known as extreme risk protection orders. Today, I'm also directing the Department of Justice to propose legislation ensuring that those who commit hate crimes and mass murders face the death penalty, and that this capital punishment be delivered quickly, decisively, and without years of needless delay. These are just a few of the areas of cooperation that we can pursue. I am open and ready to listen and discuss all ideas that will actually work and make a very big difference. Republicans and Democrats have proven that we can join together in a bipartisan fashion to address this plague. Last year, we enacted the Stop School Violence and Fix NICS Acts into law, providing grants to improve school safety and strengthening critical background checks for firearm purchases. At my direction, the Department of Justice banned bump stocks. Last year, We prosecuted a record number of firearms offenses. But there is so much more that we have to do. Now is the time to set destructive partisanship aside, so destructive, and find the courage to answer hatred with unity, devotion, and love. Our future is in our control. America will rise to the challenge. We will always have, and we always will, win. The choice is ours, and ours alone. It is not up to mentally ill monsters. It is up to us. If we are able to pass great legislation after all of these years, we will ensure that those who were attacked will not have died in vain. May God bless the memory of those who perished in Toledo. May God protect them. May God protect all of those from Texas to Ohio. May God bless the victims and their families. May God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you.